Have we talked about how Doplex's background says "at the poo"?
That was intentional, actually.
Yum, that's good. That's beef, babe. Oh, I'm about to beef.
Hey, bitch! Welcome to Beefboys. Have you had a pap smear lately? Well, go get one.
Yeah, let's start it off with that. That's a good topic to bring up. So
Yeah, vaginal health. Let's get into that.
We're 4 men, and we'd want to educate you on your vagina. So here's how you do it. So you look down, and then you just spread it. You gotta you do like one of these.
You gotta spread the flaps, e.g. vagina. Now, have you ever done a? Do you guys ever in science class? Do you ever do baking soda and vinegar? So that's actually a natural cure-all for the vagine. So you want to
just stuff
Mentos
it up there.
and Diet Coke also work.
Yeah. You just turkey based some Mentos and Diet Coke into your hoo-ha.
Do you think that's the next Twitch trend? Hot girl ASMR.
Yeah.
Coke Mentos with pussy.
Yeah.
But she like does it, has to do it off camera, so it's lightly cropped out.
No, yeah, you just get the sound effect.
Yeah, you can only hear it. Yeah. Hey, chat.
That really hurt.
Okay, I'm
thanks
about
for
to
the
breathe in
dono.
through my pussy.
Did you hear it coming into my vagina?
I love that screenshot of that girl queefing into the mic is great because there's like 16 red flags from one still image. Like there's so many things you can pull out where you're like, I do not trust this woman. I think one of them was like her sub goals or like donation goals was like need money for weed. And it's like, I don't trust any woman who has that anywhere in like her bio. Or
dressed like a fucking Lazy Town character too.
But listen, you gotta appreciate the honesty, right? Because like, most women on Twitch are like, I need money for a new camera, but they're probably just buying weed. So at least she's honest.
She's upfront
power
with it.
to you.
I used, in my brief phase on Tinder back in the day, there was always like you'd come across people and they would have no picture of them in their profile picture, just like a picture of like, I don't know, like the beach or something. And their bio would just be like looking for, and then like the leaf emoji. I saw that like quite a bit. Like people just use Tinder to not even hook up, just to like get
Look
weed.
for weed.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Oh no, yeah, I see that all the fucking time down here. Hey, Doplex.
Oh yeah.
Doplex.
Yes.
Can you hold up your drink really
Jumbo.
quick?
Sure.
You saw that thing that happened in the Gulf of Mexico this week? That's because of that straw.
Oh.
So
Fuck it.
you're
Topical!
It's funny you say that
was very rude. I
because
drank my
Doplex was
coffee.
playing golf in Mexico. So
Yeah,
he
I was playing
tangentially
Mario Golf in Mexico.
I used to, as a kid, I always thought it was the Gulf of Mexico. I'm like, damn, they be doing shit
That's a
out there.
big course.
What would Tiger Woods' name be in Mexican?
Tigre Woods.
I was gonna say Tigre too.
Tigre Woods.
What's Woods in
Hello,
Spanish?
I play golf. I
Puta.
don't know.
Wait, here's a question I've had,
Tito.
and this is probably like
Tito.
not news for people, but what's the relation between Mexico and Spain? Like, is it the same way like America and England are like obviously from there, but there's like a
Yeah. So
Yes.
okay. So as a Mexican, right? Here's the thing. I am like not educated on any kind of culture,
Anything?
let alone my own. Anything. Yeah. So like, as far as I know, I think Spain is like the European version of Mexico. But I might be completely overgeneralizing, and I'm sorry if I am. And if you're Spanish, then let me know.
Spanish.
Are you Spanish?
But like
Yeah,
they probably
pretty
wouldn't have like
much.
tacos in Spain or like
Spain.
I'm
tumbleweed.
sure they have tacos. in Spain.
Spain were were like the founding conquerors of the Americas. So
Okay.
like, and I'm pretty sure they hit Mexico like first or close to first, and then like they, raped
played them
and
in a round of
pillaged
golf.
the native like the native South Americans or Central Americans, like the English
Right.
would do to North America. So it's just that's why they speak
Yeah, it's pretty much just that.
a Romance language.
In Mexico, is there like that disdain for like the Spanish colonialists the same way there
I
is
don't
for
know. I have
English
no idea.
colonialists?
I believe there is.
There's so much jargon about Mexico that I don't know what's true, what's not, how safe it is, and how ugly it is, how yellow it is, because every movie makes it look like it got peed on last night. I have no fucking clue what's
yellow.
true about Mexico and what's not.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
Dopix would know better than anyone.
Yeah, I lived there for a couple years, and here's what I've gathered. A lot of people say Mexico is stained in yellow, but unlike my underwear, Mexico is actually quite colorful, aside from the houses. Or no, the houses are colorful. Back up, I'm losing myself here. Mexico throws you in the sprawling wilderness of Mexico and makes you really feel like a Mexican.
You really feel like a
feel
Mexican.
the exaggerated
Mexico
swagger.
really makes you feel like a Mexican.
Slinging webs, jumping between buildings, you really feel like a Mexican.
Doplex, from the information that you've divulged about Mexico, it just sounds like Iceland. They just got colorful houses.
Oh. Yeah, I mean colorful houses and like pretty good street corn. That's
Yes.
that's kind of the
You don't have that in Iceland, idiot.
Bro, you ever slap
Yeah, but
somebody's
you just
corn
eat
out of your
fucking
face and you
ice.
say, "Get that corn out my face." Bless you.
Oh, I sneezed. Thank you. I was holding that in.
that pulled it out. What's your final score? What's your final review score of Mexico?
Okay. Here, I gotta give the score like an IGN reviewer.
Yeah, and the plus and minus like they do in IGN.
9.1. Didn't like it at all.
Yeah. Too much, or no? I guess not enough water. Or yeah, okay, all right. And for these reasons, I give Mexico a 7.8. Not enough water, too much corn.
There's a little something for everybody.
Yeah, regardless of what you say before, you have to give it like an 8.5.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Old-time
Just, like,
Mexico
tear into
fans
it.
will love this new installment to the series. Wait,
This
old-time
is me
Spain
when I'm in
fans.
Mexico.
That's you when you're in Mexico in the 30s.
Yeah.
He color correct his thing back to normal, so like nothing happens.
Yeah. So
I
he
saw
looks
this video
like a
the other day.
schizophrenic.
Not to get too fucking #political, but I found some fucking idiot.
Welcome to the political hour of Beef Boys.
Let me preface this by I have never stepped foot in America and I don't care. But the
City's burning.
There's someone was talking about AOC's. Sorry, how do you say
Nuts.
grandmother in Spanish?
Abuela.
Abuela.
Abuelita.
There was some scandal with her with that. I don't know what the fuck it was. Doesn't matter. But some dude was like. He was talking about it, but he started his video with like, yeah. So first of all, she calls her grandmother. Was it Abuela?
Yeah.
Yeah, Abuela.
Yeah, Abuela. And they're like, she's obviously just doing this just to pander to her fan base. She could just call it grandma like everyone else. And I'm like,
Pander
what?
to her fan base. English speaking
Like
Americans.
everyone else.
But like her grandma is like in like Puerto Rico or some shit. Like she's in.
Yeah.
And like people call their that's one thing I've noticed. No matter what language you speak, you call. What's
You call
what
your
kind of
grandparents
Yeah, if I call my
different
grandpa
things.
pee poo on stage, who am I advertising to, you know?
Well, I just like the implication that like the way he says like everyone else just says grandma and grandpa.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not, like,
But everyone
Right,
I know
other
has
places
like
in the
different
world.
names. There's some people say nana, some people say grand, some people say like nonna or you know
Bitch.
whatever. Like it's all like everyone has different. Because I guess so many of your grandparents were like immigrants, so they're like from the original country and still probably speak that as their
Yeah.
primary language. So they just call
Right.
themselves that. So like, I don't feel like that's pandering. I feel like that's just what people
It's
of
just what
different
people
nationalities do.
Yeah.
yeah, that's just speaking in your fucking native
Yeah.
tongue.
God
Yeah.
damn.
I just think that
Everybody
even,
says
even
grandma.
beyond that, it's like you got two grandpas and two grandmas. So in my family, one set got Nana and like Gramps, and the other one got Grandma and Grandpa. So
yeah,
Yeah,
so you
it's like-
immediately
yeah,
knew who you were talking about. Yeah.
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 But if I
Do you
said
call your
Nana, I would be
grandparents
pandering to all
abuela?
the Italians.
Yeah.
You're fucking pandering by referring to your grandma that way.
He's being paid
People in
off by the
China.
mafia.
It's like, ni hao,
AOC.
grandma.
Oh god. All right. So let's see.
Questions?
There's a few things that we got to get to today before.
Yeah, we have a lot of
before we-
questions we've been putting off. Well, not
We
putting off,
do.
we just haven't got to because we get so lost in the source of rampant discussion. So we've decided that
We
this is
get
going to be a
lost in the
Q&A episode,
Yeah.
to put it succinctly.
Get lost in the beef fizz.
Before we ask questions, though, I heard that Kudos likes places that are fronts for the mafia. Want to explain?
Oh, yeah.
Place.
I think so, James. I
Great
think you and me
layout,
talked
Jimbo.
about this a wee while ago.
No, yeah, we did.
But it's interesting that I'm sure you guys all have these. Have you ever noticed a place in your town or somewhere where you've never seen a fucking single person in there, but it's like clearly in a place that like the lease is not cheap, and you're like, either you own this plot of land since like the 70s, or there's some shady shit going down, because I'm sure we've all seen a couple like that.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, obviously there's like the famous like mattress store.
Yeah,
meme,
the
which
mattress
is
store.
100% accurate. I swear to God, I've never seen anybody inside of a mattress store.
Yeah.
Like where I used to live, there were like in the same shopping center, there were 4 fucking mattress stores, like all owned by the same company. What's that big one? The main one,
Mattress Firm.
Mattress
Mattress
fuckers, I
Fucking
think.
everywhere. No one's ever
There's
in
4
them.
of them in the same shopping center.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, why do you need that many? It's fucking insane.
There's a shopping center I've been to in town where there's 2 of the same supermarket on opposite ends, and it's not a very big it's not a big mall. So I'm like,
Do they like compete with each other?
but they're the same brand. Like they're not 2 separate branded supermarkets. They're the same supermarket
One's
on
got
2
like
different sides.
cheese and bread, and the other one's like produce and snacks.
You have to like
Yeah.
walk
To get
all the
you-
way between them.
Yeah.
What if it's like different difficulty settings? Like the first one's like normal mode, and the other one's like extra hard. It's like
Yeah,
nightmare mode.
there's no aisles or there's no like order. There's just, like,
Organization.
random shit in it.
Just
Yeah.
Dump the pallets on the
It goes
ground.
like one shelf will be meat, cheese, cocoa powder, condoms all in one row, and you're like,
Yeah.
this isn't what I want.
And none of it's refrigerated, and there's nails on the floor.
Thank God I was looking for T-bone steaks, condoms, and toilet paper, and it's all right here.
Right in the basket. No, I'm imagining like
Stroke of
booby
luck.
traps, like giant like axes swinging from the ceiling, like Indiana
And
Jones
everyone
way
has to be
around.
on a mobility scooter that goes like a little too fast to be inside.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
all the
you have to
staff
be
are like
all-
their worst staff from every store in the town. They
Yeah.
like put them all
Yeah.
in one place if they've got bad performance reviews. So
It's
all,
like in
really-
They're all
GTA if you
horribly
get sent to
racist.
like the game
Yeah, if
the
you
game
bu- if you
server that's
grieve
for
too
like
much.
killing too much. Yeah, like you have to go to that fucking Publix or whatever and like risk your life if you're an annoying customer or worker.
and it's a front for the mafia.
And it's a front for the mafia. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I can't think of, I know I've seen a bunch. The ones for a while, back when I lived in Wellington, there was, I would like to say, at least 6,000 vape shops. This is when vaping first
my
like
God.
became, you know that transition where they stopped calling vapes e-cigs and they started calling it
Yeah.
vapes?
Yeah, like
it was like in that-
2014-ish.
it was just so like, I remember there was one literally every block, like
Yeah.
every block of the CBD. And I found out recently why that was is because last year during the New Zealand election, was it last year? Yeah. They had a referendum for legalizing marijuana, and apparently the idea was those vape stores were going to flip into dispensaries. But it didn't get passed. So as far as
What was
I
it about
know,
like
most of that-
0.4% it lost?
it was not a lot. It was fucking stupid. I don't know why why
Yeah.
it didn't get through. But anyway,
That's kinda
failed. So
crazy.
all those cunts who probably put like had been sitting on the lease for a few years to have
Yeah.
that prime real estate got fucked out of it. So
that sucks.
Dude,
Wait,
there's
so
a...
were they?
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Double
Andrew,
X.
you go ahead.
No, you
No,
go
please,
ahead,
you go
Double.
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna ask if they were fronts for the mafias, or if they were just leaseholders hoping for the.
yeah, I don't think
the
those were
good
fronts necessarily, but I don't know how much organized crime we have in New Zealand in terms of the
That's
mafia.
true.
You walk
I don't
in
think
and
we
the
have
guy's
any
like,
Italians.
"Hey, welcome to the vape shop," and you're like, "Oh boy, one of these."
Hey, one of these.
Asking for pina colada juice. On my
There's
daughter's
one
wedding
place-
day.
Actually, there's one place I've noticed. There's a street in Melbourne where there's this one store. It's a tobacconist, but the law in Australia is that you're not allowed to, in New Zealand as well, I think you're not allowed to show tobacco. You're not allowed to advertise it, and you're not allowed to have it out on shelves, even behind the counter.
Tobacco?
Yeah. So like, because they crack down on smoking super hard. So like, if you want, like, they'd have, that's all behind like white, like metal cases, and they'd like put a key in and open it up and get out whatever you want. And they just have like a price list on the table, like printed out. So there's this place that's a tobacconist, but I guess they just decided not to stock anything else. So it's this like big ass floor space, just in like an empty room, some like Chinese guy sitting on a computer, just like typing all day, playing games or something. And there's no like candy or snacks or like literally, it could be like a little convenience store, but the guy's like, nah, we're just tobacco. And so it's this weird, creepy, empty room that with poor lighting that I've never seen a single person in. That's the closest place I've found here to be like, there has to be some shit going on that this guy's not selling that much tobacco to justify this massive empty floor space.
It's like a water store here in California. Like some places,
Wait,
mostly in like Mexican neighborhoods, there's these things called water stores, which they also have in Mexico, and they're fucking awesome because I mean, it pretty much just go there to get water or candy, and that's all they have. So you walk in, and it's like an empty fucking building, and they just have like one of those like water dispensers that you put coins in and fill your jug, and like a rack of candy, and then just
this is so foreign to me. I've never seen this.
Fill your jug.
Everyone here just drinks tap.
Live in hole
like,
in holes.
Oh, that's so weird.
there's a brewery in
make
the
your
town
own
I'm
water.
from where they were built on like a spring to get like clean water for the beer, but as part of like the, I don't know, rules with the government like 100 years ago, they had to make it so that the spring was accessible to like to the general public. So if you go to the side of the brewery, there's a tap that like dispenses this like absolutely pristine water, and you'll drive past it and there'll be people just like with fucking jugs like filling up like their week's
Showering
worth of
in it.
water just because it's like
fucking
that
epic.
clean.
Water.
Anyway,
So
questions.
anyway, well,
Hey, do we have
actually,
any? Hey, do we have any preguntas? There's a
Well,
new
I
bit
think
I'm
before we
working
get to
on.
that, I think before we get to the preguntas, James, hey, James,
That's me.
Miller,
hey,
That's kudos too.
not me. It's technically
James
both
Miller.
of us.
hey, bitch.
Sure.
You
So
can't say
got into
James
a-
and you can't say Miller because that refers to
That's true,
literally
yeah.
the rest of the podcast.
That's true. Yeah,
Refer to me
you're
as
right. You're right.
fat fucking dipshit, please, sir.
But that's not
Hey,
accurate.
taste on. I'll refer to you as taste on. You got into a bit of a controversy. Spill the tea, sis. as
Oh,
the
yeah.
Fucking.
Oh right.
James has been
Texting
desperately searching for
underage
taste
kids
on.
again.
Yeah. So I said the N word.
Hell yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you fucking did.
So okay. So if anyone here be watching my videos, I made a video recently about a guy called Jaden Sprins, and
Guy called D's.
a guy called D's. He be tasting on my sug-on dick. So he's your average child content creator. He's not a child. He be a content creating for children. And
Actually, hold on. James, we've got the perfect summary for your video. I think Internet AJ put it best himself though, please.
Oh yeah.
It was truly more sus than a character from Among Us. First off, he was accused of sexually abusing and grooming minors. It was truly more sus.
Okay,
It was
the end part isn't true.
Yeah, for legal reasons.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
So
For legal reasons, Internet AJ said that with his consent.
Yeah, we didn't say it, so don't come after us.
so he makes like weird content where he has pointy teeth. I don't know. Kids like that, I
That's
guess.
it.
That's
his whole
literally
shtick.
it. That is his entire shtick. He has pointy teeth and he eats
I got
candy with
fangs.
them, and does like gambling shit and like promotes shit
He
to
eats his own
kids without
feces on
telling them
camera.
and like everything. Yeah, eats his own poo. And
You ever seen Two Girls, One Cup? Yeah.
he's
That's
both the
entire-
girls.
Yeah.
So
He's the cup.
yeah, and his fucking brother's the cup. So
Yeah.
and this, I made a less than lighthearted commentary video about it because, it gets really weird. His
Which was
fans
great.
are obviously children, thank you, who leave very weird comments, and he likes them and replies to them and gives them his Snapchat and his phone number and, all this really weird shit that,
I love your videos.
I can't.
James'
I tried
video
to look as hard
was-
as I could to see if he was like a fucking, he was doing some shit, but I couldn't find anything. But regardless, that's the gist of it. I made the video. I thought it was funny. It was like 30 minutes long. It took me weeks. I thought it was very well researched. And
I was gonna say I love the video and I'd recommend the audience goes and watches it, but
yeah. So then, like 2 weeks after it came out, Jaden Sprins copyright claimed it, and I know it for a fact because it had. I know it for a fact because it had to tell me exactly who copyright claimed it and whether it was like automatically found or manually claimed, and who the manual claimant was and who they were acting for. And it was a manual claim for Jaden Sprins by Jaden Sprins.
Yeah, which is absolute bitch mode.
Yeah, like he didn't go after the ad revenue. He didn't like go to get it like, I don't know, blocked in certain, like he fully went to get it taken down, and he got a copyright strike put on my channel, so I can't upload for the week, and like, which I wasn't going to anyway. Yeah, that's the first one makes that happen. I can't upload for the week. I think I have to go to copyright school or some really condescending fucking bullshit. And like, so I submitted a counter notification. If he doesn't release it, he has to personally take me to court over this. So, you know, that could be epic.
I don't think he will, for the following reasons. One, he reminds me of someone who was involved in like a really bad like skateboarding accident. Like he wasn't wearing a helmet, and so as a result, he's just like
or
really
knee
fucking
pads.
slow.
There's something so strange about where he is mentally for a 24-year-old like actively scheming kids. Like it genuinely seems, and I cut this out of the video because I really didn't want it to come across like I was trying to make a joke about like mental illness and like or like rather like intellectual disabilities and shit, but I genuinely feel like there's, and this literally isn't to be mean, I genuinely think he's on like he has something, like he does not function properly, and like actively loves engaging little kids and shit with his content. It's really
at
weird.
240p.
The other thing to note as well is like
clarinet.
Like this dude has what, like 2 million subs?
He had 500k last month, but yeah, now he has 2 million.
He's got 2 million subs.
Jesus
like
Christ.
James is a 20k sub YouTuber. Like he would have gone, like your video didn't go viral yet.
Yeah.
Like it was, he went out of his way to like search his shit and find your video to get.
No, totally.
Like that isn't something he would necessarily get served up, I don't think. He went out of his way to Google himself, find your video, get mad at.
No, totally.
Get mad. Well, that's the thing. It's like, I feel like there's, it's weird because it's like almost like unanimously okay to punch up. You know, like if someone is very clearly above you, like
that
in
was
terms
the
of popularity, you know, like you can punch up and there shouldn't. And besides, like, why the fuck are you getting hit with a copyright claim? That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Or what is it?
It's a
Copyright?
it's a full-on copyright claim. Yeah. But he chose to strike the video down and give my channel a strike. There's multiple ways you
that's
can
obviously
do it.
with the intention of like silencing your video, which is obviously in poor taste of him, which is just fucking stupid.
Oh, so that the really weird thing is, for a guy, and at the end of the video I say, you know, I don't believe him to be doing anything like criminal or something that should, you know, I don't think he's a terrible guy. Maybe he's just, you know, out getting his bag like half the other fucking people on the internet. But like,
it's part of ISIS.
But at the same time,
you should have made some crazy accusations up there.
It's really, really strange for a guy to, without saying anything, silence the video and like delete the video, claim it, fucking strike me, get it all fucking taken away. It's the only video on YouTube that's about him because he's huge on TikTok and now he's moving his way to YouTube. And he silences the only criticism of him that's been levied on the internet so far that I could find. And then when I approach him on Twitter,
that's the only one you could find.
That's when I approach him on Twitter, he blocks me, then privates his account, and then our friend Ryan, who does he's a smart boy, he does research for Nerd City and stuff.
Ryan Andrew King. He helped my brand video as well.
King. He kept his eye on it, and when Jaden, he never unblocked me, but when he unprivated his account, so he went to private it for a specific amount of time so that he could do something, or else he wouldn't unprivate it the same night. And when he came back, Ryan saw that he unliked hundreds of tweets he unretweeted hundreds of tweets and he deleted like 1,000 tweets or something. And then because I got I had quadruple the clout of him on Twitter, even though his channel's hundreds of times the size of me. People still kind of started chirping at him, and he fully deleted and wiped his entire account and hasn't reactivated it or anything. And it's been like a week or some shit. So it's like, it's like if you asked the dude if he burnt the house down that he's standing in front of, and while he's throwing lighters in the windows, like, no man, none of that's true. It's like, what are you
throwing lighters out the windows while running away?
Nah, yeah, bro, just like ran away. No, dude, it wasn't me.
Like, what pointing a gun at you. What are you that afraid of that I pointed out? Because there's a lot of criticism I levied, but some of it is a lot more dangerous than others.
The worst thing is, like, Dopex for literally weeks now has been searching for Taste On, and he messaged Jaden thinking, maybe Jaden of all people might finally know who Taste On is.
Yeah.
And not long after deleted his whole account. So Dopex once again is not able to figure out who Taste On is. So if anyone in the comments knows who Taste On is, please message us.
Please.
Or Taste On, if you're watching, your family misses you. Come home.
Come home, please.
To Mexico.
So
yeah, Jaden Sprins, fucking bitch. Fuck
I might make a follow-up video, and I kind of hope he sues me, because I feel like I could get some groundswell going for like money to be the second fucking absolute dub in copyright DMCA shit in court, and push the precedents further. And on top of that, if he did sue me and I had enough money, I would countersue his bitch ass for damages, because he's rich as fuck, and that video could technically have popped off any day since then, and I could be a fucking millionaire if it did. So fucking give me your money, bitch. Unfucking claim this shit, or I'm down to go to court with you and countersue you, bitch ass, you fucking idiot. Yeah. I have precedent for my fucking idiot.
We should point out as well, for people who aren't beautiful, sexy YouTubers, there's two types of copyright like claims or strikes you can get hit with. One is just a claim where, like, say you play a song in your video. Yeah, there's either there's the red pill and the blue pill. So the blue pill is they hit you with a copyright claim, which is like you play some of a song. It's a bit of a stupid thing, but even if you play like 5 seconds of a song, that the owner of that song can be like, oh, they used my song in this video, I'm gonna keep the video up, but I get all the money from it. Which, total bitch mode, but the video is still up. So also, if you play clips from TV shows or movies, again, that should all be fair use, but fucking copyright system's broken. But what happened to James is where I think what happened to James is more reserved for, like, oh, I just fully uploaded the entirety of B movie, and like the fucking Seinfeld comes down and is like, hey,
because the other one you don't get punished.
Don't do that.
Like, they can take your money or whatever, but you don't get a strike on your channel and limited everything. And your account is in bad standing now with YouTube. I've lost a bunch of privileges and like trust factors and all this bullshit. And it's like, one, you get all the money and none of that bullshit happens, and then the other one is fully like, you did something abhorrently wrong, and instead of sending you to fucking prison for stealing my shit, I'm just gonna like strike your channel and get you fucked or something. But I didn't do anything.
Yeah, James's stuff was completely fair use. It was all critique of it. And also, like,
I edited every second of his content too.
You edit his content, even if you didn't, like, it's fucking TikToks. Like, can you really copyright strike 7 seconds of a TikTok?
Of him
half
chewing
the
on
videos are from his TikTok ripped and re-uploaded to his YouTube Shorts account anyway, because I got everything from YouTube Shorts, and it still had all the TikTok bullshit on it. So.
And also, TikTok's a
maybe
channel.
There's something to say about that, because it's not even the original fucking content anymore.
Well, TikTok's also a platform based on fucking ripping shit off. Like, oh, someone does something and then you duet with it, or you copy the audio and do the same thing. And like, that's the platform. That is literally the entire point of TikTok, is to duplicate what's already there. So for him to then come in and be like, you're stealing my content, it's like, you're on TikTok, man. That's what it is.
So based on unoriginality, you dumb fuck.
Literally.
The whole thing
Jaden Sprins is... sorry, Andrew, one last point on my end. Jaden Sprins on a live stream recently was saying how his biggest influence and his biggest reason for starting YouTube and TikTok was Logan Paul. And he said it completely unironically and thought he was like... He was just like a gorgeous fucking genius of like artistic fucking creation and everything. So Jaden... If you're watching this, maybe we tweet this out or some shit. Jaden, fucking box me and put all your fucking money on the line, pussy. Let's box, you fucking bitch. I bet you could buy Mike Tyson to fucking suck your dick while you train, you rich douchebag. I'll train with my dad in a slab of fucking meat and beat the shit out of you, pussy.
You can practice on Andrew's ass when you visit him next month.
True.
Yeah.
We'll go beat up moose and fucking reindeer.
Just a training montage of James running up mountains and slapping moose in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
With paper cutouts of Jaden Sprint's face on them.
So anyway, that's the Jaden Sprint saga. Again, I would say to go watch James's video, but it is currently still in purgatory. But hopefully, we're going to be able to
upload it to the Beefboys.
Hopefully, we can Streisand affect this shit.
Yeah.
We all upload it to our own channels and it'll get nuked as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew's account just gets deleted.
Yeah. All right, it's time for some Reddit questions from the Stinky Boys over at r/the Beefboys.
Over at r/Goon Caves. If you want to ask us any questions, go to r/Goon Caves.
Yeah, and make sure. The only requirement for you to ask questions, you have to post a picture of your monitor. So make sure you do that.
If Goon Caves doesn't work, use /r/the Beefboys.
Yes, r/the Beefboys.
The Beefboys. All right.
Only go to Goon Caves if you're 18.
I'm trying to find thank you for that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know which one that we should read first because
just fucking read one.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. User Slippy Dongbag.
A legend.
Of the King.
The boy.
He's been active on our subreddit since day one. He asks, "What's the closest y'all have come to getting Alivant?" Doplex, you have to let someone else share in between your stories. I will. One time my dad and I were fishing for carp on a pond underneath a railroad bridge. So I climbed up on the bridge to spot fish from above. No one believes me, but trains coming straight at you are fucking silent. I didn't know it was there until it blasted its horn at me. And by that time, it was too late to get to the end of the bridge. So I either had to jump in water, which was like a 40-foot drop, 12 meters for the Kiwi. That's in kilos.
Thank you.
Or lay down on the side of the bridge. I went with a ladder and had a train go over me. Fucking wild. The sheriff showed up a couple minutes later and said he expected to have to clean me up with a mop. I think I was 15. Love you guys. Keep beefing.
Fucking hell.
That's fucking insane.
Well, I'm glad you didn't get fucking meat pied.
Before we answer the question, can we really all just like quickly say, would you take the 40-foot jump into water, or would you lay down and try and dodge the train? Because I would have jumped, I feel like.
See,
I guess it depends on...
I literally have a back injury from jumping from high places, so I probably would jump.
Okay. What about you, Andrew?
Well, I was going to say, I guess it depends on how deep the water... Like, if I knew the water was, 15 feet deep, I'm fucking jumping.
Shallow as fuck.
Yeah. But if it's, a foot deep and I'm going to have my spine come out through the top of my head, I honestly don't know what I would do. I'd be like,
no, you just tuck and roll, bro. It works. If there was
railing,
I swear.
If there was railing, I'd, hop over it and just hang off the railing while it, came past and then climb back up. That's probably what I would have done.
Me and Andrew wouldn't be able to pull ourselves back up. So that
we would have fallen anyway.
That's the C option for people who are fit.
I feel like that'd be the safest route to go, though. I don't know. Because as someone who's afraid of water, I don't know if I can make the jump. But as someone who is afraid of trains, I don't think I'm actually afraid of trains. But I feel like in that moment, I'd be afraid of trains.
Real rock and a hard place situation for me.
I am afraid of trains.
They're freaky.
In a house I used to live in with my boys, we lived a couple streets over from yes. We lived a couple streets over from a train track that goes all the way up the east coast of Florida, and this train would come 2 or 3 times a day, and it was dude, I tracked it once. It was the train was 3 miles long or something, which already freaks me out. I don't know why, but hearing something about hearing a train whistle in the middle of the night really puts me in an unsettling place. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It like really
Interesting.
freaks me out. It like makes me feel like I'm in a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's very like illogical, but
Yeah,
no,
I feel
it
that.
makes
Yeah.
it's
Oh, that's
a pretty
scary.
rational fear. Yeah. Well, I mean that wasn't his question. So let's back up.
sorry.
Let's rewind time. So his question was, what is the closest you have come to being alivened?
I've already told the story of almost getting hit on the
layman.
getting off the tram. I think I've told that like multiple times. That was probably the most recent one where I climbed off a tram and some cunt who was meant to stop just plowed through, and if I'd taken one more step I would have gotten fucking dinged off. All so that he could get to the stop sign, like the stop light that was like 3 meters away slightly faster because he's a fucking idiot.
genius.
There's another I was in a van that rolled. That kind of sucked.
You were in the van or on the van?
I was in a van. I was like, because I used to,
think he
my
was
parents
on
lived an
the
hour and a
van.
half away. Yeah, I was on top of it, riding it like a fucking
like the-
carriage.
The logs on the river.
My parents used to live an hour and a half away, so like each weekend I would take there's like a bus that like went between like, the two towns. Besides a bus, it was like a van. And one time we were going in the middle of winter and it was like really icy, and the woman just the driver took a turn slightly too hard and it just fucking skid out and we rolled a couple of times. But no, everyone was fine. The worst part of
scary.
the worst part of it was like I was in the front seat and she had like, you know, all of her like crap in the like side tray and stuff. So I got pelted with like books and pens and like bottles and shit. That was the worst part of it. That was like more painful than like the actual roll. So
That's
yeah, and then
Damn.
you know the fuck thing was after that, like we just sat around for a wee while, and then like a replacement band came and picked us up, and I went like
insane.
But
And
I
that one
but I
rolled?
went to it was school. It was Monday morning, and I used to arrive. I think I'd arrive at school like at like 10 o'clock, like a bit late, and I remember rocking up thinking like I'd get the day off school because I just had this like traumatic accident. I remember like telling my teachers and they were like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I think I'll be fine." And they were like, "All right," and I just had to stay at school.
Back
for
in the
rest
class.
of
That is the
And I was
most
like,
disappointing thing, yeah. Because rightfully so, you deserve a little extra attention and pity on that day. You know, everyone
I
needs a
was
little time in
fine.
the
You're a
sun.
rollover accident.
I was fine. I just
I would've
wanted a
given
day
you a
off
day
school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell one because I feel like mine's gonna be one of the more less interesting ones, and we can save the better ones for last. I think one of the biggest ones I have in memory was I was probably 6, I think, and this was when I lived in Homer, Alaska, and me, my
Don't
mom,
make any jokes.
my sister, and my brother. Yeah, I was gonna
I'm
say
trying
everybody.
to think of the Homer voice so
My brother
fucking
Bart
hard.
and my sister
brain is
Lisa.
Yeah,
smoking.
everybody's
My
made
brain
the
is
joke.
fucking
Don't worry.
smoking trying to think of the Homer voice,
Yeah.
and I can't think of it.
It's like this. Hey, Peter.
It's like this. This is Homer Simpson. Homie.
Stewie, my baby. Go on and put that clip
Sorry,
in.
Andrew.
Ooh, my baby.
Sorry, Andrew. Please continue.
No, it's fine. It happens every time I tell a story
What
about
you
Homer.
pointing at, bro?
You should lie about where you're
look
from.
like you're like pointing right at.
I'm waiting to. So we're coming in from out of town, because we live slightly out of town, and the way you get in to town, you come around this road, and there's just this massive fucking bluff that kind of goes off into the bay.
This massive duff.
Bluff.
Duff beer?
It was a Simpsons joke. Andrew.
I haven't watched The Simpsons.
Wait, you haven't
What?
watched Simpsons? Conversation for another time. Please continue.
Yeah, keep
What
going.
the fuck? Okay.
So
That's weird.
You know,
We're
30
coming-
seasons, whatever.
we're coming in. We hit. We're in a van. We hit some ice. We spin out, and like are heading right for this big light pole. And somehow we just like kind of stopped, and then went down the bluff a little ways. And a tree managed to like kind of gently make us go, and stop.
Whoa.
But I mean,
Wait,
if
so like
if the tree hadn't been there, we would have just right off a fucking
Yeah.
cliff.
What the
Damn.
fuck?
What?
scary.
You said this wasn't a good one.
I'm way
Yeah,
too
that's a pretty close call, I'd say.
yeah.
Yeah, my
Jesus.
dad about had his whole entire family squad wiped by a little patch of ice.
Yeah.
would have
The
been out
last
there.
person to like put one bullet into the car just gets like a quad kill in the feed. They just they get
I was gonna say the ice cools in it. The ice calls in a fucking airstrike.
Yeah. Yeah, like the
Finishes my
ice
dad
gets
off.
stopped by the tree and just calls in a fucking predator missile and is like, nah, you're not making this one, brother. When I was in freshman year of college, I think, me and my buddies, senior year of high school too, we did a lot of, there was this shit called Weird NJ that was like, it was like a magazine they published all the time that had like, it covered a few like haunted or trippy or really fucked places in New Jersey that have like a interesting history or like lore to them. And we would always go to them like Clinton Road and Pig Lady Cove or some shit. And they were really fucking freaky, but we went to this one called the Devil's Gate or something. And it was this huge, like, you could get, it wasn't really sewers. I guess the sewers would be like farther down, but it was like this huge fucking opening that you could go into, and it was like under train tracks, and it just was just like this underground network of like really fucking big, like we were walking like 8 people abreast to like sewers that went under this like whole town or something.
Sure.
And we went in there and it was dry and it was nice and it was a nice clear sky, and then we heard like thunder and lightning and it started fucking like downpouring, and we were like half a mile in this thing, and it was like, that is where all the rainwater goes. So it's like, if we get caught down there, we're just gonna like, you know, float up to the ceiling. It's gonna fill up all the way, and then we're just gonna like suffocate and all die. So we just had to like start sprinting back as like the water was filling up, and we were getting fucking soaked in like doo-doo water. And it, you know, this is like an underground, undisturbed place, so like there's giant fucking bugs and spiders and spider webs everywhere that we were dodging on the way in. So we're like running back, like crying, like wiping fucking carpenter spiders like off our face, like hoping we don't suffocate 2 minutes from now. I think at one point we all started singing like Bohemian Rhapsody as like a self-soothing method as we're like fucking sprinting from our death.
That will help.
It was kind of made it like a lighter situation, but
so did you die in the end, or what happened?
Yeah.
I just want to say your first 2 examples of Clinton Road and Pighead Cove both describe Hillary.
While we were running out, like there was like a bunch of other sewer jets that would like come into this main big sewer. We looked down one, and there was like a hobo like sleeping underground on newspapers and shit with like needles around him and stuff. Sleeping underground where like giant fucking black widows and shit like nest and everything, which is just like so fucking sad. But
who's their king?
He's like sleeping like 30 feet down this just hallway of nothingness and like poo. It was also freaky because it's like a sleep guy that we don't know that's like sleeping underground with needles around him. So I remember we were just running, and like I stopped and I didn't know what to do, so I just screamed like, "Hey man, it's flooding!" and then just like kept running and was like hoping he made it out, but hoping that we made it out really far ahead of him so we wouldn't have to interact.
He comes charging you with the needles like, ah!
Yeah. No, it's like Final Fantasy. He joins your party. Get a new party.
We won over a fucking NPC.
I know a guy. I mean, this isn't really a death thing, but I have a
Christian
friend
joke.
Who I met at Liberty who lived in Jersey, and him and some friends went to Devil's Gate, and his story
also describes Hillary.
Yeah, his story. I mean, I know the guy, so like I believe him. Apparently, him and some friends went in there, and they must have stumbled upon some kind of weird group ritual that was going on, because there was some people around with like hoods and cloaks, and they looked at him, and he was like, "I ran
also
the
describes
fuck."
Hillary.
I just like.
No, that we went back there another time, and it was fucking. Too. Yeah, we ran into like really weird people.
Yeah.
Like a mile underground.
Yeah.
And then you start encountering fucking sickos.
It's like getting random encounters
or something. It was fucked. Yeah. I don't know why we did that.
That's crazy.
The other ones
like
were
a
cool.
normal thing.
It's not normal, but yeah.
Well, no, but like I've like gone into the woods like with friends and have encountered like a group of people coming out with like they're all like wearing like one time in Balboa Park, which is like a famous park in San Diego.
Yeah.
There's like a long set of stairs that go into like it's basically like a forest kind of. But me and my friends, we would go to Balboa Park like super late at night, like 2 a.m. And like one time we went down there, and like out comes like a group of like 5 girls, and they were all wearing like white dresses, like old timey dresses. Yeah, they're well. No, I don't. Actually, I don't know. But anyway, they were holding one of the girls up, who was like, she looked like she had just been fucking like like Bill Cosby or something.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, like that was creepy. Like that straight up felt like we walked in on some weird, like ritualistic shit. Yeah.
Fuck that.
So that was.
Oh, I just remembered another time I almost died. It's a short one. I was like 10 or 11, and I think I was playing outside in a friend during a thunderstorm. And you know, like, obviously, like the fucking how long it takes between hearing thunder. Sorry, seeing it and hearing it determines how far away it was. Well, we were playing, and my entire vision went white, and I immediately heard a fucking boom. So it must have hit within like 100 meters of me or something.
You were in the
and we both
eye of the storm. Yeah.
We both looked at each other and screamed and ran back to their house. But that was like, damn, that must have been fucking
like,
close.
There he is.
I used to work at an outside bar, and that happened, and it was like thunder, lightning, and I was like, okay, and it was like, it went from like sunny to this in like 30 seconds, and the bar was at a pool, so it's like, all right, close the pool, everybody out of the pool, you know, like bars, like, because we could bring down shit to like protect it so you could stay in there. And then 10 seconds later, the storm must have been moving, we were dead center in it, it was boom, bam, and then my whole legs, all my entire legs went fucking numb, and I turned around, and like an entire strip of like forest was on fire. And like the trees were like
holy shit.
The trees were like wilting and like snapped down the middle, and I was like, and then in that moment it's like, okay, well this is gonna happen again. What the fuck do I do?
What do you do?
Is it like, all right, I'm running the chance. Like, let's hope it hits the kid in the pool shitting himself and not me.
This is weird because like my entire vision went white. Like it was like that bright.
No,
It was like everything just disappeared.
Completely disoriented for like
Fuck
2 or
that.
3 seconds. It's crazy.
Yeah. Very epic.
You know, it's funny, like living in California my whole life, like I always think of like crazy weather like that we just don't get.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even know what the fuck I would do in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, we get earthquakes, so that's really it. Like, you know, like we've had like a few like hailstorms, but like nothing too crazy.
I fucking love inclement weather. Besides that one time.
Earthquakes aren't very cool. I can confirm, being from New Zealand, we've had a couple that have been not epic, not based or red pilled. Actually, sorry, third time I thought this was probably I didn't come close to dying, but I thought I was going to die. There was a massive earthquake. It was like midnight, and I was just up chatting to someone, and then all of a sudden there was this big one in Wellington, and I want to say like 2017 or 18. Entire building shook so hard, almost shit fell off my walls. We were 3 stories up at the top of the building, and I was just like, I think this is it. Like that was probably one of the few times I've been like, I think I might be dying, because it was so violent. I was like, this building might just come down, because we had a giant earthquake in Christchurch, you know, when I was in high school, and that like fucking leveled the city, and so many people died, and I was like, I'm done. This is it. I didn't.
How high up were you?
It was I think we were the 3rd or 4th floor, but it was an older building. We were the top floor, so it wasn't like we were in a skyscraper or anything, but it was still like, it was tall and it was an older building, so I was like, fuck.
Yeah, no, totally. I was gonna say you should like buy you and Emily like some parachutes, and it's just like, if that ever happens, you just like, it's like, fuck it, we either have fun or we avoid death. But then it's like, if you're on the 4th floor, you guys are just gonna fucking open it and accelerate your face toward the ground. It'll be like you'll belly flop to earth instead of breaking your legs.
Luckily, Australia is not on a fault line as far as I know, so that we don't get earthquakes here. But, New Zealand is, so probably one of the worst things about the country is shit just falls over.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm
I've told 3. Doplex, you must have.
Yeah, Doplex.
I think you've already told a few.
I feel like I've told enough, so I'm probably gonna skip this question.
Okay.
Just because I feel like you know, y'all don't need to hear.
I mean, I want to desperately, but you don't have to.
Well, I could spread them out. You know, I mean, besides we got more questions.
Okay.
So let's
Can
see.
I go with one? Can I go with one?
Yeah, please.
Because I was excited. I've been thinking for years about getting this question, and it makes me happy we've gotten it.
Oh yes, please. If this is If this is your calling, then please.
Fuck yeah.
By all means.
This one might not be that interesting to you guys, but so Death Lord Gargithicon. It's an epic name.
That's a pretty good name.
Asked, who's your favorite underrated YouTuber? And then the subtext says, who's your favorite underrated YouTuber? I'm always looking for some cool underappreciated boys to sub to.
There's these guys called Beefy Boys. And, so pretty much,
that's a teaser for next week's podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about them next week. So stick around.
I don't know. You guys, I mostly watch like
I've got a lot.
Dumb shit. Yeah, I don't really.
I've got
I'm
a
not
few.
I'm not a YouTube hipster so much.
Yeah,
I could find some though. There are a few I watch.
So
I've got
I could
James,
think of a
tell
few,
us some.
but- Yeah,
so there's this
go.
channel called Townsends. The Townsends.
Oh, dude, I
Kudo
love
showed me
Townsends.
them. They're based in 18th century American literature, culture, and food, mostly food. And this guy like builds his own fucking log cabins, but like doesn't just build the cabins, like builds the fucking fireplaces and all the accoutrement and equipment that you would have on like a family site in like the 18th century, and like goes over all the history of shit, teaches you how they would have cooked then, slept then, cleaned then, bathed and everything. It's really fucking interesting, and like they never break because there's nothing to break too. Like they're just very invested in this, and this is like mostly their lifestyle. It's very fucking cool. So that then there's
Actually, hold on.
How do you spell that?
Can I talk about
How do you
Townsends
spell that?
for a little bit more for a second?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So like, I absolutely adore Townsends. It started out as a channel where this guy, they had a store where they sold like period pieces for like people who wanted to do like reenactments or whatever. And I think they started the channel as a means to like advertise their stuff, because they have everything from like clothes to cookware and whatever else.
Yeah.
And then just the 18th century cooking stuff like took off. And it's just fascinating seeing like how they used to cook, and like the recipes are so funny because that's just like, just put some eggs in there. Like it just,
It's
there's
never
no like,
measured. Yeah.
it's just vague as fuck. It's like, put some flour and
But
put
this
this
dude
in. It's just-
Townsend is so good at interpreting it, because it's like he's genuinely so immersed in the history and everything. Like he can interpret the recipe, then measure it, then give you that measurement, and now you can make it whereas you most likely would have interpreted it incorrectly on your own.
But lately they've been, he went through, he goes through phases where like they'll cover different things. Like for a while they were like doing a whole series on like what the soldiers would have cooked and done. But lately they've had this really awesome one where they built a log cabin from scratch and everything around it, like James said, and like repairing it and what they need for this and that. And now they've been like pretty much doing like a fucking Age of Empires town where it's like, oh, now we're building a blacksmith, like a smithy, because this is what a small town would have had, and like here's what we can do with the smithy, and now we're making like a baker's hut and what. So it's essentially like building a small town and showing you everything. Like what.
And
that
now
allows
it's
them to
winter,
do
so
and
we
everything.
have to reinforce and like try and insulate the cabin as much as we can, and collect firewood from dead trees and blah blah blah. And it's so interesting. And he owns all this land, but he like he utilizes the land and like animals and everything around him and everything in a really interesting way, where like he, as you probably would have hundreds of years ago, like he cultivates everything in a way that is like non-waste, and a lot of the stuff is like living to the end of its life, or he's cutting down dead trees that haven't rotted yet and everything. It's like very it's sustainable. It's really fucking interesting. So Townsend's, highly recommend them, as Kudos does as well. Then there's another channel that Doplex found recently that I found a few years ago through Critical's podcast.
I was gonna bring him up.
This channel, Sad World. It's fucking...
Hell yeah.
Doplex didn't believe it at first, which I understand why he wouldn't, but it's fucking Gibby from iCarly doing... So this is a full switch up from... this is a full switch up from
weird.
18th century fucking cookbooks. But like, it's Gibby from iCarly doing data moshed, like super deep fried meme shit posts that would have been popping in like 2015 that no one does anymore because it's not profitable.
Insane editing.
But he and his brother do it, and the editing is like incomprehensible to me. And I've been editing for fucking 5 years and shit, and it's incredible, and it's so funny for people that like YouTube poops and stuff. Except it's also not really fucking edgy and shit like old YouTube poops used to be. It's still a little edgy, which is epic, but it's not like fucking.
It's pretty edgy, I'd say.
It's to the extent of the
That's-
old ones. But
that's the jam. Oh, and
It's
also
so
Manly
funny.
Reviews. I feel like Manly Reviews should
or
definitely go check him out. That dude's videos
that's
are
a
fucking insane.
small channel too.
He's
like,
very
for how
small.
good it
Manly
is.
reviews.
Man, I
yeah,
didn't even
his
heard of this.
cyberpunk video is like.
Oh, yeah,
The
ridiculously, like-
cyberpunk guy, kudos.
Yeah, the guy with like the really good
Yes.
fucking editing, really good fucking keying,
cleanest
like, his
green
lighting is on
screen
point.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
no,
his
yeah, his shit
streams
is
are
good.
just,
I-
like
I
super nice to look at.
Forgot
like,
his name.
Definitely go check out Manly Reviews. That dude is
Manly
cool as fuck, man.
Reviews. I think it's
Yeah.
just Manly
M-A-N-L-Y.
Reviews, but it's a play on his last name or something. But that's the
Yeah.
We can link all these
Good guy.
channels.
Yeah, we'll put these in
the
the
description.
ship below. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, his videos are fucking nutty.
There's another one.
I
got
when,
another one.
when we asked this question, I thought we meant like really small channels, so I didn't have any. But now, then you brought up Townsend, who has like 1.5 mil. So, but
Yeah.
so there's one guy I really I haven't watched his stuff as much lately, but Larry Lawton, he's 1.2
Doesn't
mil
sound
now.
familiar.
He was I think he was America's biggest jewel thief back in the day. And he,
I
he
think I know
got
who
done.
you're
Oh, the prison guy.
Yeah, he got pinged for it and spent 13 years in prison. And
Yeah, the prison guy.
his shit's fascinating. It's a mixture of like talking about like him growing up, like being like, he wasn't in the mob or mafia, but he was like associated with them and like we did jobs for them in like
Yeah,
New
he
York
worked in
back in the
mattress
day.
firm.
And just like his youth growing up, like he's a bit of an older guy, so he's got like lots of really interesting stories of back in the day and like how fucking horrible prison is. Like you really cannot describe how awful prison is. He's very much like that kind of like he wants to help people like not make the choices he made to do better. But I don't know, it's really interesting. I really like his series where he wrote a book about his whole life and experiences, and he did a thing where he would kind of like go through each chapter, like reread it himself and then make notes and then just kind of like talk. Like he wouldn't read the chapter out to you, but he'd just say like, oh, here's some interesting things from this there. And he'd just tell these like crazy stories of like his time doing fucking heists and like real life GTA shit.
Right.
And like being in prison and how fucked that is, and like the people he saw get killed in prison. It's an insane story. He's got such a crazy life. But his channel is really interesting. So yeah, we definitely recommend his stuff.
Fuck yeah. I have seen his shit. I think he did something with one of those like GQ channels or something where he did like a whole.
Yes,
it was really interesting.
That's how I found him.
I
He
saw
did one
that.
where he was on. I can't remember the channel either, but it was
It's
like
one of
Jewel
those
Thief
GQ
reviews.
variety type. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Jewel Thief reviews, like classic heist scenes from movies, and he goes through and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
this wouldn't
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
You do this thing, yeah." Blah blah blah. I was like, he pretty much gives tips to like aspiring con men, which is really funny. But then he's like, "But don't do it." But here's how I did it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting though, just to,
It
like
is
what the
interesting.
reality of a heist is, of like hitting jewel stores and stuff, like what that actually
Yeah.
involves.
Jewel like the vape.
Yes.
Yeah. He actually he robbed a vape
It's probably
stores
as profitable.
around the Florida region, I think.
So I got
Andrew,
it.
what about you?
Okay, Andrew, go
Oh,
ahead.
boy.
I
I feel like
This is somebody I've known for a little while. I think James and Doplex know as well. I don't know if you do, kudos. Tuzel.
Andrew
Our
Miller.
I was gonna say Tuzel.
Our French syrupy man, Tuzel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Tuzel's great. Yeah, I
Tuzel
filmed
is
something
the
for him,
homie.
but it never made it because I think he cut that bit.
Rip.
Literally
so, yeah,
ripped out. But no, Tuzel's
well,
stuff
he
is
cut
great.
all
He
the
puts-
bits that
Yeah,
fucker. Yeah,
piece
no,
of shit.
Tuzel is the man.
Tuzel has
Touzzel.
such an interesting energy to him.
Yeah.
It's every
He's a
time I
cult of
watch his video,
personality.
yeah,
Very
it's just
fuckable.
like, yeah, very
Very.
fuckable.
Very.
he's a very handsome man, if I do say so
he
myself.
genuinely is.
Shame about the French.
And one of the nicest guys
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I've ever met. On
Yeah,
like
super cool dude.
Tuzel and I, we've done a few videos together. Like Tuzel's content is just, he elevates it so much past like a lot of what I've seen on YouTube, and like his brain is like a fucking it's like a jewel factory making jewel pods.
I
That's
agree.
his brain.
If we're talking about our friends who are small and extremely talented, our buddy Zenny,
Who's going to be on the
makes-
podcast?
He's gonna be on the podcast
Eventually,
soon.
if he ever agrees, and if he stops,
Yeah, he
blowing
works
us off.
no,
Yeah,
come on.
he's too
He
cool
works
for
his
us.
shit done. He makes some of the best like. It's like a really cool fucking English teacher like breaking down a story that you like aren't good at comprehending. It's like he's also really funny, but I think in my opinion he's probably like one of the best examinatory
Video
video
essays.
essayists on YouTube. He's
I would
really
agree.
good at breaking down a story. So fucking check the shit out of him. I got another one. Tasting
another one
History
too.
with Max Miller. He kind of blew up a few months ago.
Another Miller?
I'm really into history and cooking. Yes, Max Miller, Tasting History. If you're into that shit, if you like Townsend's, you'll like him too. He doesn't do period shit. Like he's not like genuinely immersed in period stuff, but he's like he does like recipes like all throughout. Like he does recipes from like fucking Megalovania, bro. No, not actually. Fuck, I'm trying Mesopotamia or some like he does shit from like 5,000 years ago where they
fucking
yeah, no, yeah, it is. It like kind of sounds like that, but I couldn't think of it. But he does shit from like 5,000 years ago and like makes it and then modernizes it a little bit if it's fucked up. And he's like got a huge theater background and he worked for like Disney for a really long time and he's like very charismatic and interesting
me.
and his recipes
Not
are
like me.
fucking his recipes are epic and I make them sometimes and they're so cool and it makes you feel
James-
like you're
Oh,
more
yeah.
in touch with history. It's epic.
James Miller, have you ever heard of Super Sizes Go? It's not a good name, but it's
the
a TV show
documentary
called
from
Nah, no, not Super Size
2003.
Me. It's a stupid fucking name, but it's called Super Sizes Go. It's a British show, but it was a comedian and I think a journalist who's also like a bit of a comedian, and they pretty much do that but with a TV budget. So they'll be like, oh,
That's
this
cool.
week we're looking at like they'll do like wartime England, or they'll do like ancient Rome, and they'll do they'll be like, oh, here's what people would eat, and they'd cover like during wartime England. I think they'd be like, here's what the common folk would eat, and they had like rations and everything because it was the war. But then they'd be like, here's what Churchill ate, and like all the like he was
That's
just
really
pissed
interesting.
24/7. And then they'd also do stuff where it'd be like, well, here's what the man's role would be in this society, and here's what the woman's role would be, which is funny because one of the comedians I think is like a lesbian and much more like butch than the dude's like this little fucking man. He's like he's more feminine than she is, but then she gets forced to like dress up as like a Regency woman, and she's like, I feel so silly like this. It's really funny. So, but that is a genuinely really really good show that does also what you said.
Fuck yeah, I gotta check that
but
out.
not a YouTube thing. So
What
kind
is
of
it?
not the question. Super Sizes Go. Again, stupid
Okay.
name. I think it might be on
that's
YouTube. It's a bit of an older
weird
show.
branding. No, I'm
but,
gonna check that out.
definitely
Though.
check
That's like
those
my
out.
favorite shit. That's like my favorite.
Yeah, it's really
shit.
interesting.
Anyone else got another one? I got another one.
James
Well, I
got
feel
the
like-
list.
Well, hold on.
I love
All right,
showing
let's-
people
let's,
actual good content on YouTube because I fucking hate this
Yeah, no,
platform.
totally.
And
There's
I
a-
love
there's a-
seeing
Yeah,
people
well-
doing
well,
wonderful
question.
shit on it.
Actually,
A lot of the people that you've mentioned, are they bigger? Are they? Because I feel like they're bigger YouTubers. The ones that you guys are bringing up.
Some of them are all over the
I'm
place.
kind of going with the stuff that I watch that like skirts the mainstream, regardless of their size. Because like a
It's not
Townsend
like
video
a-
might get sub 100K views and some might get 20 million. It's just like, it's very much like they're kind of just. I'm kind of just going with stuff that I would recommend of like. You know, everybody knows Gus and Eddie, and we fucking love them, or Jakey, or Philly D, or some shit like. But
Philly
like, and
D's
these guys
nuts.
might be as Townsend's bigger than Eddie by twice, but like by like 2 times as much. But nobody fucking knows him because
He doesn't have a
skirts
Twitter presence.
totally different. Yeah, exactly. Like he skirts a
Yeah.
totally different thing. So
Yeah, I'd like to recommend EDP 445.
well, don't fix you and me are both on a channel that's on a video that's coming out soon for my friend Sarah. Channel
Sarah's
is
chill as fuck.
Weababe, Wiababe. She doesn't have too many videos yet, but her Animal Crossing, she's got 2 Animal Crossing ones, and they're absolutely fantastic. They're the reason
She's
I
very
knew her
nice.
in the first place. And me and Dopix are appearing on a video of hers that's coming out probably in a month or 2 about this insane Sonic Tumblr blog. It's a very funny story. She had me screaming lines saying I'm gay because apparently that's what Sonic said. So she has lines of me saying that over and over.
Sonic's famous catchphrase.
So I think I'm Sonic. Who do you play in that?
I play Shadow.
Fuck yeah.
Oh.
I put on a Shadow voice. That's my
And
Shadow
and our
voice.
friend Tom Videoga plays
I'm going
plays
to shoot
some
up my
characters too.
school.
Courtney, please isolate Dopix saying that. Upload that.
There's
So definitely
OD
check out her channel.
No, yeah, and we're gonna link all this in the description if we remember to. Hopefully, that is my job, so I will. But
Someone scream at us if we
Hopefully you
don't.
guys click all
even
of
people
them.
that we didn't mention, I'm gonna link in like a comment from my own channel, just because I got way more people to say. But my last one is this guy Matt Colbo. He's a sketch guy that blew up like maybe like 5 or 6 months ago off like a Tom Scott impression video that was like, I've never seen someone do a better impression than that in my entire life. And beyond that, he does really, really interesting, different sketch comedy on YouTube. And it's like, he's really good at pacing just naturally, and does like 5-minute sketches that like you don't even know where it's going. You're not really like laughing that much for like 4.5 minutes, and then the final punchline just like guts you. It's like so good every time. Really cool. Matt Colbo, very funny sketch person.
Fuck yeah.
Also check out iDubbbz TV.
Colbo.
He's a really small
Yeah.
You might not have heard of him.
Yeah, there's this other guy, Rice Gum, who I really like. Yeah.
He's great. He's great.
How do we want to round this off, boys?
When all of the dust cleared, there were only 2 people remaining on the parade ground. Goku, the Saiyan hero, and Adolf Hitler, the most evil man ever to walk the earth. Goku smirked and said, it's come down to this. You and me, fighting like men. If you admit defeat now, I'll kill you rather painlessly. Goku had the definite advantage, or so it seemed. Goku, you came here expecting to fight a madman, but instead, you found a god. Hitler had become a Super Saiyan. Hitler became Super Saiyan. Anne looked on in awe, not sure what was going on. At first, it seemed like her lover would win the battle, but now she was not so sure. Goku now seemed scared of his opponent, and it was for a good reason. Hitler continued to speak.
Goku, can't you see? I've reached a power level 10 times anything you've ever achieved. Your fate is sealed, weakling.
Even though the battle seemed unwinnable, Goku charged in, screaming at the top of his lungs. Thank you, Andrew.
No problem.
Every blow he struck with was deflected off of Hitler's rock-hard body. Hitler waited for Goku to tire himself out, then raised his fist and punched Goku, and one punch was enough.
He's One Punch Man!
Goku was knocked across the street into a large propaganda poster of Hitler, thudding to the cold, hard ground. Hitler laughed. Thinking that victory was in his hands at last. Goku, however, was not ready to give up. Bruised and battered, he rose from the ground, limping in Hitler's direction. The Nazi leader laughed.
You still want to fight? Don't you know when to give up, boy? You can hardly walk, and you expect to beat me, conqueror of Europe?
Goku ignored Adolf's taunts as he continued to stumble his way forward. Finally, the 2 arch rivals were standing face to face. Goku stared Hitler into the eye, then screamed,
This is for love!
and flew up into the sky, his hair turning blonde, his eyes blue, and an aura of power radiating from him. Hitler looked on in horror at Goku. He had made the ultimate achievement. Hold on. Courtney could run something. Okay, alright, here we go.
Keep this in.
He had become a super ultra power Saiyan, which I don't think is a real thing. Goku made a cup shape with his hand, aiming at Hitler as he belted out the words,
What if I just said came, hame, ha?
that is what Goku says. Came, hame, ha!
Came, hame, ha!
As a beam of pure energy shot at his enemy, disintegrating the Nazi leader's body. Goku then collapsed to the ground in a heap, exhausted from the fight. 2 years later, Anne and Goku had finally reached the date of their wedding. After the battle, Anne and Goku destroyed the time machine and took a boat to Australia.
Wait,
That's what
Mom?
Kudos is. I needed a sound for the time machine being destroyed. They changed their names and lived new lives. ready to start over. The two young people looked into each other's eyes as they kissed. As the Reverend pronounced them man and wife. Finally, it seemed, Anne was at peace, and they would always be together until the end of time. The end.
Fuck
Worst
yes.
podcast ever.
Oh, I know. And then this is the wedding reception.
Hitler, what are you doing here? Did you shave?
He's going for it.
Coming to the
Get
club.
Congratulations to the married. Congratulations to the married couple.
Congratulations. Ian and Goku Frank.